Still got some water in my lungs though. Oh, the little moments when I felt like I was bulletproof. Well, oh, these little stitches leaking water started soaking through. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back. I wish I could pick up on the signal. I would have picked you up a raincoat. And when we're running in the downpour, at least I know that you'll be safe though. Oh, the little moments when I felt like I was bulletproof. Well, I'd have never made it if you never went swimming too. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. Still feel you in my lungs. Still feel you in my. Still feel you in my lungs. Still feel you in my lungs. Oh, the little moments when I felt like I was bulletproof. Well, oh, these little stitches leaking water started soaking through. I just need to say it's overdue. I'd have never made it if you never went swimming too. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go. And I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go back, and I'll never go.
You're listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red Moon Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host, Sean Sebastian, and Keith Cheatham. Guys, it's finally upon us. Here we are. It is Oscar week. We finally come to it. Oscars 2020 is here. We've got our picks. We know exactly who we want to win and who we think's going to win.
2-0.
We've even got our champagne of beers.
Ocho dos.
Yo, we did get real champagne,
ocho?
so we got the cheapest beer possible. Well, I did. It's not the cheapest beer possible, but it's obviously it's not the good stuff. Keith, why don't you give us your take on it?
It's like water with a little bit of caramel coloring in it. No. I mean, it's a light
almost like-
beer. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's just a light beer.
It's like sudsy water, you know. But I figured it. Hey, it's gold.
and somebody stuck their dirty toe in. No.
Yeah. Well, that might have been. I just didn't clean it out.
That's
good
where
enough.
that yellow color came from.
Yeah, nail fungus or the dish
This is
soap.
gross.
Yeah.
Start off gross. People be like, I don't want to watch this.
Oh, they're gonna watch
Talk
this
about toe
episode.
fungus.
In fact, this whole entire episode is nothing but Oscars.
Nothing but Oscars.
Nothing but Oscars. We got our Oscar picks
boy.
2020, our multimedia segment, and our emails combined.
Oh,
We're-
whoa.
Neil wrote us a wonderful email talking about a Washington Post article that kind of goes into Oscars of the past and says, did they get it right or
Just
not?
Good stuff. Yeah,
Good
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
I honestly, I'm really looking forward to getting into our picks. Again, talking about who we want to win and who we think will win. But we've still got one more review, guys. One more
One
Best Picture
final
nomination review.
review.
Keith, you've done all these. You've been the one that has really set the bar high. You have told us that
I've
all
set
of these
the bar.
Yeah, you said every pick this year has been a 3.5 or 4-star pick, except for
I'm not a
Ford v
bar
Ferrari.
raiser. James Cameron raises the bar, not me.
I hate you.
He's the one that raises the bar.
But what about
Oh.
this final film that we have for our Best Picture nomination?
Oh no, I mean it's solid. I mean I think all of the nominees this year have been fairly solid.
Okay.
The unique thing about this film, however, though, is that it's a foreign film that's been nominated for Best Picture, which is not a common occurrence. The Oscars have been going on. This is their 92nd Oscars. There's only 12 foreign films that have ever been nominated.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
12 their list has foreign language films that have ever been nominated for Best Picture.
Kind of sounds like a Tinseltown trivia to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, Keith, so this would you say this is on par with the films that you have already reviewed for Best Picture?
Well, absolutely. But I mean, we could just listen to the review and find out. So here's our review of Parasite. The Oscar nominees this year have already proven how close a race it is for Best Picture winner. With Best Picture and every other category packed full of deserving nominees, we've been blown away by the choices. One particular nomination stands out amongst the others, however. It is not often foreign films receive Best Picture nominations at the Academy Awards, with only 12 foreign films in the show's 92 years having been nominated for that specific award. This year sees South Korean film Parasite receiving exactly that honor. Not only is this the first time a South Korean movie has been nominated for Best Picture, but it is the first major hit amongst the United States for South Korea, something South Korean cinema has been trying to accomplish for a while. Directed by Bong Joon-ho, director of Okja and Snowpiercer, Parasite tells the story of the Kim family. The Kims are down on their luck, poor, and behind on their bills. Ki Taek and Chung Suk, the mother and father of the family, are without jobs, and their son, Ki Woo, and daughter, Ki Jeong, failed to make it into college and have no prospects. When family friend Min randomly shows up offering Ki Woo a chance to take over as English tutor for the daughter of a rich family, the Kims soon devise a way to one by one integrate themselves as employees and houseworkers to the Park family, falsely claiming to be experts at various jobs and unrelated individuals. Unfortunately, when the former housekeeper becomes wise to their schemes and threatens to out them as frauds, things take a dark turn. Parasite is a smart, relatable, and darkly hilarious film. Akin to something like the Coen brothers film The Lady Killers, Parasite is easily the most entertaining dark comedy I've seen in ages. The acting is top-notch from an all-Korean cast that is completely unknown to the United States. The comedy is smart and relatable, dealing with issues such as social status and class inequality. While full of Korean culture and humor, the characters and struggles are relatable amongst all cultures, and the comedy resonates amongst viewers from all walks of life as well. Director Joon-ho likewise proves his mettle, making a film that transcends any particular group of people. Through use of various angles and shots in the film, characters are often contrasted against each other, with shots of one character on the steps above another, or side-by-side shots of characters in two separate rooms, eliciting the separation of the different social classes. The one setback I felt in the film deals with the ramifications of the Kim family's actions. While the film is well crafted with a story that comes full circle, with plenty of things foreshadowing its ending, I do feel unsatisfied with certain characters' conclusions. As many dark comedies tend to reward characters in kind for either their morality or immoral decisions, I felt Parasite gave a few characters an unfitting end. While it may have been displeased by how Joon-ho rewarded or punished certain characters, it is undeniable that the entire film and its ending plays into the movie's overall themes and its title of Parasite. It is an intriguing tale that deserves its place amongst its fellow nominees. I give Parasite 3.5 out of 4 stars. There you have it.
That's
Three.
our final Oscar Best Picture nom.
Yeah,
Is that like
3.5.
essentially like all of them have been 3,
3.5
higher?
or 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
3
all of them have been 3 or
3 or
higher,
higher.
but the only one that got 3 was Ford v Ferrari.
Okay.
The rest of them have been either 3.5 or 4.
Yep.
And I mean, I believe they all deserve it. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't give them that star
Of
rating.
course, yeah.
But no, this movie was really, I mean, it's one of those things where like the Korean cinema has for a while trying to been breaking out into an American market. They've hired like Liam Neeson was in I think a Korean film last year, a South Korean film. I forget there was another actor that did one. I know China's tried to do the same thing. They did Matt Damon in The Great Wall, which
Yeah.
that movie was terrible. But
South Korea is far ahead.
they're far ahead
Of China.
But this one, this was not. They didn't try to hire an American actor. They didn't try. I mean, this one was literally he made the movie he wanted to make, and it surprised everybody when it was so good. It did. It got nominated for best foreign film
Well-
and best picture overall.
Well, I was
so-
actually surprised that the films you mentioned in there that were also critically acclaimed from his previous.
yeah, his
stuff,
Snowpiercer and Okja both.
Okja.
Snowpiercer was really good.
yeah.
I was
Snowpiercer's
surprised by that one.
fantastic.
I saw
It's-
that on
yeah.
Netflix one night. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just like, man.
And
Chris,
it honestly,
Chris Evans though that drew me to it.
yeah,
But it's just it's a wild movie, but it's really good.
yeah.
well,
it's
and it's
fantastic.
funny because that was one that I remember looking at, and I was just kind of like, I don't know.
What is this?
Wh-
Yeah.
What is this? And I thought the
It's-
name alone was something I was like, this
Yeah.
is gonna be hokey.
Yeah.
You know, but it
It's like
wasn't.
a B movie.
Well, it's
Yeah.
based on a novel, and that's the name of I think the train is Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so you hear the name and you think this sounds goofy, but then when
Yeah.
you realize what it's actually about, but yeah, and I mean Okja got a lot of critical acclaim, but didn't fare well amongst audiences.
Yeah.
This one's getting both. I mean, audiences that have seen it like it. It's not quite as widespread as any of the other Oscar nominees,
Right.
but I mean, it is a funny film. It is subtitled. I mean, it's all in Korean, but I mean, even still. I mean, I laughed throughout the entire film. I mean, it is the characters are relatable, their struggles are relatable. Plus, I have a morbid sense of humor, anyways. And anytime people start getting like knocked off or killed because of like their own immorality, basically, I love like that's one reason I love the Lady Killers. It's an
Yes.
underrated
Yes.
Coen Brothers film, but I love watching each one of them like when the things happen to them and it's because of their own actions
Yep.
and stuff like that. I find funny. In fact, that was my only fault with this movie was that I felt like some characters deserved either worse or better than what they got, and it didn't come about. But at the same time, it did play into the theme of Parasite. I mean, the fact that these people pretty much infiltrated this rich family, like lying and through fraud to act like they were, tutors or counselors or this, so
Right.
that they could get paid because none of them had jobs. And they were a parasite mooching off this family. And I mean, it goes. There's more twists and turns than just that. I mean, that's just the very generic formula. But I mean, there's even much more to it than that. I don't want to get into without spoiling it. But I mean, the theme of Parasite is definitely in there even further than that. And I mean, I really liked it. And it's fun because I mean, I suggested it to Neil because I know he spent 2 years
I was
in
gonna
South
say,
Korea.
being
and
in that
yeah.
culture,
he's fond of Asian culture, anyways. I mean, me and him both read manga and watch anime, and it's one of those things where I suggested it to him, but I don't think he's much on like dark comedies like that, so I think it didn't really strike a chord with him. But I mean, I did love it, so I do suggest it to anybody who's willing to sit through having to read subtitles because I know that's not everybody's thing. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you
Right.
can do it, it's worth it.
I think the only subtitled film that I've seen from beginning to end is The Passion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's
Well,
it.
There's a
There's-
few.
there's
Life
been a
is
few.
beautiful.
Life is Beautiful
I
is
love
a
that movie.
fantastic one. There's another one too. I mean, we talked about it earlier.
Pan's Labyrinth. I've seen Pan's
Oh,
Pan's
yeah.
Labyrinth,
I
Letters from
couldn't-
Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
Any one
Yeah.
of them that have like, I mean, the thing is I kind of do agree.
Roma.
Roma.
Yeah.
Yep, from last year.
Yeah, last year.
I do prefer the subtitles versus
Dubbing?
Oh yeah.
overdubbing.
Yeah.
But there are times where it's like I like to watch it with the subtitles first, and then sometimes go back and watch it dubbed,
Mm-hmm.
just to pick up things that I maybe didn't see because I'm so worried
Which I
about
don't
following
believe
along.
this offers. I know, like Crouching
Right.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it had sub and dub,
Right.
and it was a Best Picture nominee.
Yep.
But it's one where this one, as far as I know, has no dub. But I mean, I prefer I
No
don't mind
dub.
subtitles anyway. So
Dub.
Ain't got no dub
A
step.
dub is
dib, dib.
a dub
Do a
is the
dub, do a
guy to
dub.
get no dubs from
But
me.
Bong Joon Ho, which is
Bong.
I really,
Bong
Bong
Joon-ho.
Joon-ho, yeah.
Bong Joon-ho.
It's almost like Juno, the way it's like
Yeah.
Bong. I
Bong Joon-
looked up how to pronounce all these names, and I still think I butchered many of them.
But I think you nailed it.
But,
Yeah.
man,
I think you did. You
Better-
did an
better than I
incredible
would've
job.
done.
Yeah, you really did.
it was,
Yeah.
but they
It
all
was
did.
spot
The
on.
acting was fantastic from a cast that, I mean, they're all South Korean actors, so I mean, a modern American audience would have no idea who any of these people are. But I mean, I found, like I said, I mean, they were relatable, they were funny. There were a few things I think that, like, translation wise, like, you could tell it was a direct translation from the Korean language, because when it came apart, like the way he would say something, I was like, well, I mean, in English we wouldn't quite say it that way, and I could tell it's like, rather than translate the gist of what it would be, they just translate
Straight,
it
yeah.
directly, and I was like,
yeah.
and that's kind of those are one of those things where, like, I hate when that happens, because I like when they actually take into account, well, how would somebody of this culture actually say this, and then translate it that way. But
And that's
I mean,
honestly
that's a nitpicky thing.
It is, but that is one of those things where it's like with any foreign film, you run into that.
yeah.
And it is kind of aggravating sometimes because you want it to convey exactly what the artist
But it
is
wasn't
trying
bad
to
enough
convey.
that it takes away from the story or
Right.
anything. It just was one of the things I noticed a few times where I was like, I don't know that someone would really word it that way. Because, like, even in their, like, I know, like, watching anime in Japanese, like, they have certain phrases for stuff that doesn't have, like, a real, like, English translation.
Right.
And it's like, well, in that case, like, translate, like, the meaning behind it, not necessarily the direct.
Exactly.
You
The
know,
direct translation.
Because, I mean, if a Japanese person, like, if you were to translate they'd be like, they would like, or in this case Korean, they'd be confused because it's like, well, that's not exactly what that means, but there's not
Right.
a direct meaning for that in our language.
But overall, apart from that, definitely a Best Picture nom worth
Yeah,
checking out.
I think it deserves its nom. It's not, you don't see comedies nominated much often anyways,
No,
but the
you
fact
don't.
that this has to
let
deal
alone
with
dark comedies.
yeah,
Honestly,
well, the fact that this deals with, like, you know, like class warfare and social inequality, it's like, okay, I kind of get why that's part of why I think it got nominated, but at the same
I
time,
haven't seen it, but that sounds like Snowpiercer.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Snowpiercer is all about
Yeah,
that.
it is. That's
yeah.
true.
Mm.
Well, I mean, even Okja to an extent was about, like, capitalism and
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like I think
he
that's just his
definitely.
thing,
I was
yeah.
gonna say he definitely has his own political stance that he subverts through his text and his scripts.
Yeah.
Which in his stories, and hey, that's fine. So be it. And, like, who doesn't?
As long as the story's good and it's not like I don't feel like you're, like, trying to force something down my
Right.
throat. It's like that's fine, but.
Well, and every once in a while there are points that are made, and that's
I mean,
what
this
kind of
thing's-
seems like
it
with
was
this
still
movie.
relatable. I mean, this family that is down on their luck. I mean, both parents lost their jobs. They're making no money. It's like, I mean, no matter what, I mean, it's relatable to be like, well, when you have nothing and you're looking at the people who have everything, and you're like, man, I need a piece of that. Now, what they go through to get a piece of that's not relatable because they go through it through means that aren't,
Coveting,
you know.
yeah.
But
Yep. But no, absolutely a film worth checking out. 3.5 out of 4 stars. We got to move on pretty quick. 'cause
yeah, we
our
have
next,
a lot to talk
Our
about.
topic at hand this week is pretty big, guys. It's Oscars.
Kirk
Okay.
Douglas?
Is it
Oscars.
huge?
It's huge.
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 Okay. Huge.
You-
We've got
you-
our
you didn't-
Oscars
you didn't
picks
hear-
for
you didn't hear my joke.
2020. What'd
I
you?
was sad. You said what we had to talk about was pretty big, and I said Kirk Douglas because I'm sad.
Ah, yes.
I
He
just
was.
wanted
He
to
made
give
it
a
into
throw
the
out.
headlines.
He did.
We gave
He
him
did.
a shout out.
He
Yes.
did.
Kirk Douglas passed
I just
away
wanted to
at
tip my hat
103.
to a legendary actor.
Spartacus,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we must move on to the big news of the week, which is finally we get to reveal what are our official picks
The
for
Oscars,
Oscars
yeah.
2020. I feel like I need like a trumpet sound,
You,
but
you need to hold up your little statuette. Little gold, you know.
I don't.
Have him wave the
no.
flag around. You know.
I think we did that
America.
last year.
Well,
He-
we have
yeah.
more reason to wave the American flag this year.
There it is.
I don't want to spill anything.
Yeah, we can't
I
drop
don't know what
that.
he's doing right now. He's not waving it.
He's
He's
not.
drunk.
I mean, he's on that. He's on that high life.
He's been drinking. He's been drinking the
Drinking that-
champagne of beer.
You're the champagne of beer. Too much
He's the
champagne.
same color as the.
Oh, actually, I think he's a
That's
little
why I
darker.
picked it.
That's why I think he's darker than the beer.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we should finally just launch right into it.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna work our way. I don't know if I'm gonna do maybe from the bottom up or Yeah, I'm gonna do from the bottom,
bottom
up, so
up
we
makes
can get,
sense.
yeah, so we can get to the biggest
Dang,
prize
I'm the
last.
only one with paper copy. I feel like I'm on the news.
Yeah.
You got
I
print,
highlighted.
print out the scripts.
I used my own as well, but I highlight. Like,
oh,
I
hold
used
that
markup.
up. That's pretty. That's
Oh, my.
creative.
He
my-
used markup.
I used my
Markup.
Markup. Oh,
Markup.
wait, hold
Tim-
on.
Tim
Can we
Cook
see?
and
There
that
it
Apple
goes.
app.
It's starting to-
That's what he made it for.
Wow.
That's what he made
That's
it
the only
for.
reason he
That
put it on.
is.
So I could do my Oscar picks.
That's what exactly what it is. All right, guys. So we are starting from the bottom up.
Okay.
Our we're diving in.
Visuals.
Visual effects.
Well, I know who I want to
Dun,
win.
dun, dun. This is about the only. Well, it's
Are
only
we doing who we
nomination.
think will win or who we want to win
Both.
first?
Both. We're
Oh,
gonna do them
first.
first.
Oh, okay.
I think we go around and
Should we do think we'll win first and then who we want to win?
I think we just both name it. We'll do think and then
Well, I
who
would say we
want.
say both, but I mean
Yeah.
start with think.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Let's do that.
I got music in my head and there's not really any music and I feel stupid. 'Cause I'm like,
You-
yeah.
You're listening to something
But-
over there.
No, it's just in my head.
The music in your head.
Hmm.
He's gonna be like Weekend at Bernie's. Just get up and start.
He's got that original song in his head from Frozen 2.
No,
Yeah.
not definitely not Frozen 2.
He doesn't have that song
No.
in his head.
All
Hey, I
right.
like that song.
Who's going first?
Sean, you're going first. I'm throwing you under the bus.
Oh,
Visual
you gotta
effects?
pick it. Yep. Visual
Okay.
effects.
Think-
Will win.
and think. Yep.
Yeah, will win. Lion King.
Oh man.
Oh, you think Lion King's gonna
I
walk
think
away
they
with?
will give it to Lion King.
I don't.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
just
All right.
because. But I
Okay.
want Avengers Endgame to win.
Nice. What
Okay.
about
Okay.
Keith?
I have Avengers Endgame as think and will.
Same here.
Um,
I've got it for both.
I think they're going to award because I mean it's the culmination, and I think they're just
Well,
going
so
to
is
be.
the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
yeah, but there's been 9 of those.
No, I'm just saying.
I just don't think that
I
they're
want
gonna
it
pick
to win. I just don't think the Oscars. I don't think they're going to give it to it.
yeah.
I think because it has that unlikely flavor of being the highest grossing film of all time.
It's the highest grossing film of all time.
It's-
It's not as divisive as
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker. That's another reason
Yeah.
why I think they're over.
It
Rise
was
of Skywalker.
exactly everybody
Yeah.
walked away happy critically and audiences alike. And I think
Yeah.
it'll be like this is the only thing it's nominated for.
I mean,
let's throw it a
the
bone.
only thing it could have done if they had gone the route that the internet wanted and had Ant-Man crawl up Thanos' butt, then it definitely would have won Best Visual Effects. But that didn't happen, so you know maybe it won't win.
All right, Keith, you're starting off our next one, costume design.
Costume design. Oh wow. I thought. Hold on, my thing's acting up here. See, that's a bad. See,
Oh.
paper doesn't do that.
That's a
No,
common
paper don't
problem
do that.
Costume
among
design.
men.
That's-
I have as who I think will win is actually Little Women.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
that'll win. But want to win, I put Once Upon a Time in
Yep.
Hollywood.
Amen,
Wow.
brother.
Oh man, look at them. They
Look
got
at
it
that.
both. All
Look
right.
at that.
I actually picked Little Women to win.
Okay.
I think it will win.
Okay.
But I'm picking that I want Joker.
Oh.
I want Joker to
well,
win. I want them to walk away.
I'm
with
not
it.
saying you're wrong, but
Oh, I know. I've got Joker.
We all have Little Women as and here's the thing: we didn't discuss with each other who we picked.
No, we
beforehand.
didn't. We have not shown any of these to
So-
each other. So we're all surprised by each other's picks of who
That
we
just
think
shows
is
how
who.
good we are at picking who will win because we picked the same ones anyway.
Well, we don't know. We're not the Academy, so
That's true.
Yep.
they pick some weird.
Well,
ones
you know, you
sometimes.
could just release the winners by mistake on Twitter,
True.
but that didn't happen.
It
but
didn't
people,
happen.
People thought it did.
Yep. But okay, so I'm gonna go on to the next category. Original song, Into the Unknown, Frozen 2 is what I think will win.
Really?
But I'm standing with you, Breakthrough, which is from the movie Breakthrough. But I don't know. It was a hard pick for me because I was
It's a
either-
hard pick for me because none of them I think are that fantastic.
I was gonna
Nope.
say I listened to every single one of them. The only one that I thought better than this one was from Rocket Man,
That's what
Yeah.
I picked.
and that was the one that I truly probably am leaning more towards.
I
but
picked that as I think will
yeah.
win. I picked I'm gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man as I think will win.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I picked that as what I mean. Honestly, I don't dislike Into the Unknown like I know Sean does. So I mean, I wouldn't be hurt if that won, but it's still not as good as I think. I mean, I'm not like it's just. I think that's the only weak category this year. Really, is
Yeah, it's original
song.
song, which honestly is
It's-
fine with me. That
it's
I don't. I
Hard
mean,
to
I
choose.
Yeah.
I'm
but-
okay with them having weak original songs this year because everything else is so strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean, what about you?
Well, I think the Rocket Man song will get it. I'm gonna Love Me Again.
Okay.
That's what I think will win. I actually like the song from Toy Story 4.
Oh,
I
really,
picked it.
Mr. Randy Newman?
I can't let you throw
Coming
yourself.
through,
Actually,
yeah.
that's not a bad song.
It's not. I just
Randy Newman.
Yep.
it just doesn't have
Hey,
the same
Marriage Story. Randy Newman.
Yeah.
yeah, but it just doesn't have the same effect on me as the classic Okay, you got a friend in me. I just.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And I'm
but-
not saying that. I know they're not supposed to compare it to that. It just. It's not as good as.
Yeah, no.
Not as good.
Man.
All right, Sean. What about you? Let's go to the next category, which is original score.
Original score.
Sure.
I think 1917 will win.
Oh, okay.
And I picked 1917 to win.
Okay. All right. What about you, Keith? What are you picking?
Original score. I also picked 1917 will win.
Oh man. Okay.
And this one was really hard for me, and I did settle for 1917 as I want. But I mean, it was honestly, the only one on there that I wouldn't really want to win, and it's not that I disliked it, was Star Wars. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it was kind of.
Yeah.
But I mean, I liked
love
Joker.
John Williams.
I liked Little Women's score. I liked Marriage Story score. I liked 1917 score. But at the end of the day, because I liked them all so much, and
Yep.
1970 is just the one that I felt impacted me the most. That's why I was like, I want that one. To
Okay.
win.
I
Yeah.
almost went with Little Women. I thought was going to win it.
It's a good one. I
But
love the
because-
piano in
yeah,
Little Women. It
and
has
but
some
I-
amazing piano work.
I went against it, and I actually ended up going Joker.
Okay.
I think is going to win.
Okay.
And I want Joker to win.
Okay.
I really do. So that's where I'm going. Keith, let's move on to production design.
Production design. Okay. I picked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as who
Okay.
I think will win. And honestly, that is who I also have as who I want to win. I really liked the 70s.
Yep.
I thought that was fantastically done.
Okay.
I mean, the rest of them, they all are, honestly.
Yeah.
In fact, the weakest one I think in that category was Parasite. Because, I mean, the rest of them, the set pieces, they're all period pieces. And, I
Yep.
mean, I think they're
That's harder to
amazing.
pull off.
Yeah.
Right. Sean, what about you?
I had the same thing. Once
You did-
upon a
okay.
time for both of them.
Me and
And
Sean are on the same wavelength.
I was going to say, I'm going to be screwed if none of mine win. Because, y'all are going to be like neck and neck, and I'll be out. But I did pick Once Upon a Time.
To win?
Think will win.
Okay.
But I actually picked 1917 as I want to win.
Okay.
For me, production design kind of goes into the set, not only set decoration, but how it's actually not only portrayed on film, but even, to me, the scope that they had to have in mind and the set pieces that they built to plan how they were going to do the one-shot technique.
Yeah.
That went into my thinking as to why I think it'll edge
Yeah.
out Once Upon a
Yeah.
Time.
See, I thought that crept into cinematography, so that's why I didn't think about that.
Well,
and I was
Yeah,
thinking,
we're getting there, too.
with
We're
gonna get
Once
there.
Upon a Time,
They
I
all
was
kind of
thinking
bleed together.
Tarantino had to make a movie set on a movie set.
right.
And
Yeah.
that's where the production design came in for me. I'm like, they
Yeah,
made
absolutely.
the Western movie set.
Yeah.
And it looks so much like a real movie set, but
Yes.
it's not. And I mean, I
True.
really thought that was awesome, along with, getting the 70s just so perfectly
Well, I was going to say,
right.
there are tons of shots throughout the film. I just watched it again the other night, and
Yeah.
just the amount of history he goes into, showing just all of that Los Angeles feel.
Oh, I mean,
in the posters,
the movie posters, the billboards,
the
paint
buildings
on the
that they
side of
go
buildings,
into.
everything. Yeah.
And it was funny because I just read, too, a trivia about there's a part where they go into the Mexican restaurant at the end,
Yeah.
and they make a joke about the porn premiere at the end of the road,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, they have premieres for naughty movies?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, they're actually quite fun.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that is an old theater that used to be a dirty movie theater.
Mhm.
Tarantino bought it, and it's now, I forget the name of it, but it's called the New Something. But Tarantino owns that theater.
No kidding.
And it's
That's
so I
pretty
was
cool.
like,
Okay.
it's kind of a cool little
Yeah.
nugget that I found out from just that little homage to
Nice.
back then
Okay.
even.
Mm.
So let's move on, Keith. Let's start. Or I don't know. I'm going to start off this one. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Sound mixing.
Ooh.
This is
These
yeah.
two
These
categories
are
I-
always the
These two categories
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
And
but
I did think about this one hard between editing and
I
mixing.
had to too, yeah.
I am going to pick sound mixing. I think 1917 will win, and I'm actually picking 1917 as my want to win
For mixing?
for
Okay.
mixing, for sound mixing. Yes.
Okay.
What about you, Keith?
I actually picked, I think Ford v Ferrari will win, is what I picked.
Okay.
I know it's not going to at all, but I actually picked Ad Astra as who I would want to
Wow.
win. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it'd be the only, well, it's I think the only one it's nominated for, but I mean, I did like
Yep.
Ad Astra. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Sean?
I'm on the same page. I think Ford v Ferrari will win.
Okay.
I was a toss up between Ad Astra and 1917 that I kind of want to win.
Yeah.
And I settled with 1917.
Yeah.
well, hey,
all
there's
right.
nothing wrong with 1917.
I know.
It's amazing.
To me, again, just to clarify, mixing is how all of the sounds flow together.
Yes.
Editing is the creation of the sound.
The sound.
Oh,
Those are the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
differentiations.
Yeah.
So now,
which is why I picked Ad Esther for mixing because
how it blends together.
Yes.
Okay. So
Mhm.
we're gonna do that in reverse order now. So
Editing.
Sean, you start out with editing. What do you pick for editing?
I think that 1917 will also win editing.
Sound editing. Sorry,
Yes.
sound editing.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I chose. Actually, I had those mixed up.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought that mixing was the creation of the sound and editing was putting the sounds
Okay, so
together.
you're reversing them. Yeah, mixing is the create. Or
Yeah,
I'm
it
sorry.
gets-
I thought
it
that
gets
was the
confusing.
creation, and editing. I thought editing was the blending. That's
right.
not
No.
right.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
opposite.
Opposite. So I have the Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
as,
wow,
As
okay.
the what I want to win.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, put it.
And not a
I
bad-
thought that
yeah.
was putting the sounds together.
Right.
Because there's just so much going on in that movie that I thought all of those different.
Well, and again, almost kind of in an Avengers Endgame fashion.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
for it to be the last one, to give it something that it's so iconic for anyway. I mean, obviously Star Wars has won Oscars in the past,
Yeah.
especially for special effects and
Just
sound.
technical, yeah.
But the fact is that for it to be the last major Star Wars film, and that's one thing you expect out of Star Wars, and it delivers every time.
Yeah.
In that category. Keith, what about you? Sound editing.
Sound editing. Hold on. I was jumped away for a second there. Sound editing. I actually also I knew this. I don't know why I had to pull back. I actually picked Ford v Ferrari again as who I think will win. I
Yep.
think that's the only Oscars it'll get at all are these two categories. But I picked sound or not. I picked sound editing to win. I picked 1917
As your
who
want
I
to
want
win?
to win. Yes.
I actually went with this one, Ford v Ferrari,
Okay.
as I think will win,
Editing.
and my pick for win.
Okay.
I think it deserves it just in terms of to me, it wasn't even just the car sounds;
Mm-hmm.
it was the sound within the actual
Oh yeah,
Le
no,
Mans race.
it's
Oh,
amazing.
the
I mean,
arena.
yes.
Yeah.
The
it is.
soundscape throughout that whole
Yeah.
race was fantastic. All right, Keith, we're gonna jump over to you and do film editing.
Film editing, man. I think this one was a tough one for me. I was a toss up between Joker and Irishman, and I ultimately settled on Irishman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was a hard. I was like, who?
As your think will win.
as I
and
think
want to win?
will win.
Who do you want to win?
I'm going to go with Joker as want to win.
Okay.
On that one.
Sean, what about you?
I picked The Irishman for both.
Okay.
Wow.
I think
okay.
it will, and I want it to.
Okay.
Just because of the editing between the different
Time periods and
yeah.
how old versus
Yeah,
new
to
and
put that
young.
together and
Yep.
make it flow is much like Dunkirk. And
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, true. And I will say it's a much tougher story to digest
Yeah.
because of how long
Yeah.
it is.
Oh yeah.
You
yeah.
need good film editing to keep your attention. However, I ended up going with what I think's going to win is Joker,
Okay.
and it's also what I want to win.
Okay.
And for me, a lot of that kind of there's one plot point in particular I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
The editing in general was phenomenal in terms of pacing, but the plot point of almost kind of pulls the A Beautiful Mind trick. And I don't know. I don't want to say too much for those who maybe haven't seen Joker.
Yeah. Okay.
But the reveal there I thought was pretty telling, and I thought that was just fantastic in the way it was done. All right, I'm going to move on to now cinematography. I believe 1917 will win.
Okay.
I just think there's been so much hubbub over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, or I want Joker to win.
Okay.
That's who my pick is for Joker.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me start off by saying how wrong you know. I picked 1917 for both. I think it will
Okay.
win, and that's who I want to win.
Yep.
Okay.
Same.
And you
Okay.
too, Sean?
Yep. same
Okay.
thing.
Fantastic. All right. Keith, what about moving on to original screenplay?
Ooh, original screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's upon a
That one I have Once Upon a Time as who I think will win,
I think we all have that.
and that's who I want to win. So,
Same.
Actually, I differ.
oh,
I do
what?
differ. I think Once Upon a Time is going to win.
You want someone else to win?
I
Yes.
know which one it is.
Which one?
Knives Out.
Nope.
Marriage
No?
Story.
Marriage Story.
Really? Okay.
I think
Nothing
mo-
wrong with that.
Yeah,
No, it's a
Marriage
good
Story.
choice.
I want
it's
it to
a
win.
good. It's not as good as Once Upon a Time, but it's a good show. No.
Oh yes, it is.
Knives Out was actually my runner-up for what I want to win.
Yeah.
But I think I would rather Once Upon a Time.
Mm.
But Knives Out was going to be next.
I mean, Marriage Story.
Either way
Marriage
is-
Story's pretty good
yeah.
too.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's who I want to win. But I do
That's a
think
good choice. Yeah.
I do think Once Upon a Time will walk away with it. Now, Sean, what about adapted screenplay? Who do you have for that?
I think Little Women will win.
Okay.
Adapted screenplay, and I want The Irishman to win.
Oh wow.
See, and it's odd because I actually have
I
The
differ.
Irishman.
I differ on that one.
I think The Irishman's gonna win, but I would prefer if Joker won. And I thought it was odd that they put Joker in an adapted. I know it's based on the comic books.
Yeah.
But I almost wish it would have been original.
Yeah.
I have a
I
little
kind of
bit
feel
of
like
a,
it should have been. but-
Yeah, I agree. But I picked Joker.
Mine's different from both of you all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought they were going to go a little bit different this way. I picked Jojo Rabbit as who I think will win and as who I want to win.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
so-
I'm good.
Little-
All right.
little different
now we're
now.
starting to vary.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the above the line.
Jojo
Dun,
Rabbit.
dun, dun. Well, we're getting close to it. One more category before we get to the big ones. Animated feature. I think
Oh, I like animated feature.
finally How to Train Your Dragon is going to get a win for the third and final film. I think it's going to pull it out.
I don't think so.
I know.
I wanted
know.
to, but I don't
this
think
is
so.
This is one of those I wasn't heavily invested in, so I
Mhm.
just was like, you know what? I think it's going to win, and I want it to win.
Mm,
So I put that one there.
okay.
I'm going
Okay.
out on a limb. What about you, Keith?
I actually, and I'm going off with some of the previous awards. I actually think that it's going to go to Claus.
Oh,
I do.
Oh, okay.
That's won a couple awards
Really?
already. It's between. I mean, Missing Link won the Golden Globe. But,
that's what I was thinking.
Claus won the BAFTA. So, and I do think, and it is a fantastic film if you haven't seen it. It is a Netflix original.
Okay.
It's gorgeous. I love the animation style. I want How to Train Your Dragon. I think that whole series deserves it. But I mean, those are pretty close. I mean, because Claus is really good. So,
Okay.
but yeah, that's my picks on those.
All right. What about you, Sean?
Y'all are gonna hate me.
Oh no.
I think they'll give it to Toy Story again. I think they'll
Ah,
give it to Pixar.
I
They
would
better
not be
not.
surprised, but I just
That's kind of how
no.
I feel. I think
Yeah.
that that's. But I want How to Train Your Dragon to win.
okay.
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 Okay. But you do think it'll be Toy Story?
I think they'll give it to Pixar again.
Man,
I know that would
them
suck.
hacks.
It would be. It would be. All right, Keith. What about you for supporting actress?
Supporting actress. Okay, I think Laura Dern is going to take it away.
Yes,
I do.
I agree.
That is not. I debated back and forth because I mentioned earlier Kathy Bates, but I'm going to settle with Scarlett Johansson, supporting actress.
For Jojo Rabbit.
Yes,
Okay.
because I switched who I want for the leading actress.
Ooh,
Yeah.
he's coming up
So-
with a twist.
Right.
Oh, Sean. What about you? Who'd you pick?
I have Laura Dern. I think will win,
Mhm.
and I want Scarlett Jo for Jojo Rabbit to win.
Okay, so same ones. Okay, and I'm picking. I want Laura Dern, and I think she will win it.
Okay.
So I think for both. Okay, now moving on to Sean supporting actor. Who you got for that?
Let's see.
Brandon already knows
Supporting
mine.
actor. I think just after so many years, I think they'll give it to Joe Pesci.
Wow.
wow,
Okay. Okay.
I think they will.
And
But
what about who do you
I
want?
want Brad Pitt.
See, mine's exact opposite. I think Brad Pitt will win it, and I actually want Joe Pesci to win
I
it.
have Brad Pitt for both. I think, just again going off of the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been racking them up, so I think that's who's going to. I think Brad Pitt's going to get it. And I
Wow.
mean, that's who I want to get.
That's
it,
kind of
so.
where my worry was, though. I'm just
Because he's
I'm
gotten
kinda
all
like
these
he's gotten all
others.
these other ones, and
Yeah.
and
You
that's- I
never-
just
yeah,
don't
the
see them
Oscars
giving
could
it to
pull
him
a-
too. But
But
yeah, I
that's
don't
the
know.
weird thing is still when I'm like you when it comes to the SAG Awards or those are typically telling for Oscars.
They can be, but I mean,
more
it's,
so than the Golden Globes.
but it's not it's not it's not that
No,
it can't
it's
happen.
not.
That's they go a different route. So
But it's very unlikely in my book. I don't know. All right, so
Okay.
now we're moving on to lead actress. All right, I'm going to start with, I believe, just because she swooped them up,
Oh,
I think Renee Zellweger is going to win for Judy.
Agree.
However, I want Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story.
I think
That's who I want.
Renee is going to win,
Mhm.
but I actually picked Saoirse Ronan as who I want to win.
Wow. Okay.
She was good.
She was good in Little Women.
It was hard. It was a really hard pick between her and ScarJo. It
Okay.
was.
Okay, what about you, Sean?
I'm the same as you. I think Renee will win it, but I want Scarlett Jo. So I actually want her in both of those categories, even
but
though she can't really have
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
she
that's
can,
just that's
it's
who
just
I
nobody-
want. That's
Right.
I mean,
She's
that's-
allowed to win both of them. It's just
It's
that's
just
never
not-
happened before.
Yes.
I don't think.
Oh, that's true. It just can't be for the same role.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna say lead actor now.
Mm.
I have that. I think he's clean sweeped almost the whole year.
I'm almost positive about this
Joaquin
one.
Phoenix for Joker
Yeah.
will win it. Pretty
Mhm.
positive, and that's also who I want to win it.
I'm the same.
Which I think it will be an incredible feeling for the Joker to win yet again, and it almost be like
That would be
that's
crazy.
two iconic performances now that have been given an Oscar. However, this is the first time as a lead actor.
yeah,
Mhm.
That
he
it's
was
been given.
supporting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think he will, and that's who I put as one. But I mean, all of those are good nominations.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
They are. What about you, Sean?
I think he will win, but I want Leo.
Leo?
Yep.
he
Okay.
wants Leo.
I want Leo.
Wow.
I mean, Leo does give an amazing performance.
Once Upon a Time was my favorite movie of the year.
Whoa, we're getting there.
Whoa.
We're getting there. He
So,
just dropped
it's
the bomb
I
right
mean,
there.
it doesn't mean that's what I think will win. I'm just saying
That is
to
your
me,
pick.
that was the movie that I enjoyed the most.
Out of all your-
Everything I saw in 2019, Once
Okay.
Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that's
Once
why I'm
upon
kind of
a time.
looking at Leo because I'm like, man, him and Brad
Brandon
Pitt
hates it.
were so good
Oh, they were
together that it's just ridiculous.
Right.
So I think 1917 is a better film in many ways,
Mm.
but I didn't enjoy it as much as Once Upon
a Time.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're saying there, which we'll get into that. We're one category away. Let's get to directing. This is often the big, scuffle between is directing gets snubbed for Best Picture or vice versa. So I'm going to say directing. I do believe it's going to kind of be like a repeat of a couple years ago with Del Toro and Shape of Water. I think Sam Mendes is going to win for 1917. But I pick Todd Phillips for Joker. That's who I want to win. But I
Okay.
believe that Sam Mendes will walk away with
Okay.
1917.
I was a little different there. I picked for directing Sam Mendes as who I think will win, but I actually picked Tarantino as who I'd like. I mean, it was a really hard pick. I mean, to be fair, Todd Phillips, Sam Mendes, and Tarantino, I think, are definitely my top three in that category. Not that Scorsese's not good or that Jun-Ho it wasn't good, but I mean, I think those three movies were just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Sean?
I have the same. I have 1917 will win, and I want Once Upon a Time to win.
What's it?
Oh, what about director, though?
That's
That's
what, he
what I
has.
mean. I'm sorry. I want
okay.
Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tarantino
So same
and-
thing.
and
Okay.
Sam
Now,
Mendes.
now we move on to Best Picture.
Best
This is it. I believe that 1917 will walk away with Best Picture,
Do you now?
and I also want 1917 to win it. Wanted to rake it in.
I don't know.
Keith, you're the one that, this is going to be good. What about you?
I picked 1917
To win it?
to win it,
And
that's who I want to win it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And what about you, Sean? You
Uh,
already told us.
I think 1917 will win it, but I want Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
There it is, guys. Those are our 2020 Oscar picks. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Oh.
There it is. We're gonna find out on Sunday. You should do that again, Sean.
I like
that.
that.
Was definitive.
Oh man.
Yeah,
We need to
we're-
put you in the
I'm
newsroom.
gonna like break the table.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, you're about to give the award to Moonlight right
Let me
there.
see.
and the winner is
La La Land.
Ford v Ferrari.
I mean, Moonlight. I actually, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead for the record.
Okay.
I am going to reverse my sound mixing and editing
Yes.
because
okay.
I got them mixed
Yeah,
up.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Fair
That's
enough.
fine.
To
That
To
makes
me,
sense.
like editing is building and putting it
You're
together.
editing.
So I thought it was
The names-
putting the sounds
yeah,
together.
I agree.
Mixing would be creating the sound.
I agree.
I agree,
So I
but
don't
the
understand
names
that.
always throw people
and I think I
off.
did the same freaking thing last year too.
and it was funny
Oh,
because
we've done it like the first couple, like
Yeah.
the first several years. It just gets.
well,
it
it's
is
funny because
weird.
it was only after doing it wrong that I realized it's always the opposite.
Yeah.
So the moment I think it's one, I'm like, oh, it's the other.
Yep.
So that's but that makes complete sense. We will of course keep tally all night to make sure we lock in
Yeah.
who is gonna win Oscars 2020. Who's gonna win?
It's not like
That-
we get a prize.
That
if we,
beautiful
I
golden
mean,
statue
win.
right
I
I
there.
was to say, I mean,
And
oh,
can I
get to
say
take
it?
that home? Am I
You
gonna
get
take that home?
you
I
get a
don't want.
6-pack of champagne of beers.
I don't want. Okay. I no longer
Miller
want
High
to win
Life,
this.
everybody.
Your picks are locked in.
Jeez.
You have to win it.
I don't want to win it now.
I think it's funny that it's like the cheapest beer, but it's called High
High
Life.
Life.
It's
High
like
Life.
you're living the high life.
Oh,
now.
I mean, I don't know if it's any cheaper than Bud Light, but I mean,
I was say I don't think it is.
it's not any better.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's why it's that price.
I mean,
It's like pee.
But at the same time, it could be.
it's better than like Rolling
It's
Rock.
like, what do you want? That or a Razzie?
A Razzie? I would love a Razzie.
All right, guys. I think we're finally ready to move on to another Oscar topic this year.
Are we?
It's going to take us right into our multimedia segment.
Multimedia.
Multimedia.
Multimedia. That's right, guys. Multimedia. So this week we're doing something different for multimedia because it's Oscars on Sunday. Neil, our buddy, he wrote us in a great email. Do you want to read that email, Keith? Do you have it pulled up? You don't, do you? Uh-oh, what are you doing?
I don't. I just wanted to swivel.
What?
That dramatic
Dramatic
swivel. I just wanted to do that.
Dramatic
I
swivel.
was like, I wasn't prepared for
That
that.
was some cinematography right there.
That's 19. That's winning best Oscar.
Do I want to read it? I can pull it up. It won't take.
I
me
got
long.
it. I
Okay,
got
do
it right
it. Do
here.
it. Read it.
I don't know why I asked you. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Because you expected me to be prepared, and
I did.
I failed.
And that dramatic
I
swivel
failed.
proved it.
I wanted the dramatic swivel more than I wanted to read the email.
I mean, it did. It was nice. Nice
Yeah.
effect.
Huh.
The most we can do on this show. All right. So Neil wrote us in. He sent us a link to a Washington Post article. A bunch of questionable stuff here, and I might have shared this original article before, but either way, here's some of my thoughts. So he sent us an article from the Washington Post where two people went back through from like 1976 onward to current day, all the Best Picture winners of the Oscars.
Who won and what they think should have won instead.
Yeah.
We're going to actually start with year 1997.
Okay.
Because that's the one that Neil started out with his. He skips a few years, but we're going to actually follow along with what he went along with and give him.
I want to talk about
our
some of
thoughts.
the old ones. Let's go all the way back to the 1930s.
Well, yeah, you dig those up.
I know the first ever winner was Wings. So
Well, that's because we did a Tinseltown trivia on it.
Well, I've actually seen that one. I haven't seen all the winners, but I did watch the very
Wings.
first one.
It is good.
It is good. Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So we're starting with 1997. Of course, we're going to read real quick from 97 all the way to current day, and we're going to tell you what we think our pick is and how we think the people who wrote this article are absolutely freaking nuts.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah,
Some of
them
them
are.
definitely. Yeah.
But we are asking that question, did the Oscars get it wrong? So in 97, you had As Good as It Gets, The Full Monty, Good Will Hunting, LA Confidential, and Titanic were all nominated for Best Picture. Of course, Titanic won, had a clean sweep.
of
with
course.
11
A slate.
yeah,
sorry.
clean sleet.
We got clean
Clean
sleet.
sleet
You know,
on the
sometimes,
road.
sometimes the sleet comes down and it doesn't have dirt in it or nothing.
And then it's what sinks your boat. Okay, that was a terrible joke. All right, so Titanic won. They picked in the Washington Post article that was
Excuse
indeed.
me, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, they said
I
Titanic.
mean, I'm not
was
surprised by
correct.
that. I think a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, Titanic deserved to win. I disagree.
No.
Good Will Hunting.
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree. I believe Good Will
Way better
Hunting
movie.
should have walked away with it. We all agree on that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
And here I'm gonna set this up because this pisses me off because of what they say a little bit later on in 2003, and that touches my heart.
Well, why don't
So I
we wait
have
till we get
to.
to 2003 to get
No,
to
no,
that?
no, no. But I
Yeah.
have to read what they say about Titanic,
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
and they say that it's a masterpiece.
It's not. No, they say it's a
Freaking
freaking
masterpiece.
freaking masterpiece. So you know they've got credibility.
I love
A
the next
sumptuous
yes.
Production. Two of the planet's most likable actors. Why does that matter? A gripping story, of visual effects that still hold up today.
I disagree.
Bull
Yep.
crap.
That's those scenes
That's
where
a
that
lie.
ship on the water looks terrible.
Yep.
Even when it's in the dock before it parts off, it looks
Tell it's
awful.
fake.
Well, another
It's
thing,
awful.
two of the most likable actors on the planet. I mean,
They weren't at that
this is
time.
the only movie with Kate Winslet that I've
No,
I've
she's
seen
there's
some other
the
thing like
others,
Eternal
but-
Sunshine and stuff, but I'm like,
a reader.
A reader, yeah.
I mean, jeez,
Revolutionary Road.
But I mean, I can think of
the
like
most likable,
all kinds of
characters, though.
likable actors that aren't going to win an Academy
Yeah.
Award.
yeah. But all in all, I read that because that gives you an idea of who we're dealing with here. So we all picked Good Will Hunting. So in 1998,
Do you want to? Do we all have it up? You want to go
yeah,
around?
go
and
ahead,
pick?
go ahead,
Yeah.
Keith. You read
The
that
nominees for 1998 were
Mhm.
Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, Saving Private Ryan, Shakespeare in Love, and The Thin Red Line.
one. Shakespeare in Love won. They
Mhm.
picked Elizabeth.
Because they're idiots.
Yeah,
I actually am gonna pick Saving Private Ryan. Should've won.
Yeah,
same.
Saving. I mean, I like Shakespeare in Love, but it has nothing on Saving Private Ryan.
No.
Agreed. Agreed. All right,
There's
moving
very
on.
few movies
No.
that have anything
mean,
on
I-
Saving Private
Elizabeth?
That's
Ryan.
true.
Who picked Elizabeth?
Yeah, I know.
Take it away, Sean.
1999, the nominees were American Beauty, The Cider House Rules, The Green Mile, The Insider, and The Sixth Sense.
And I actually do agree here with what they say about American Beauty and how 90s it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a bunch of
It-
meta
it-
floating around in
it
there.
won back then, and I
American
don't think it
Beauty
should've.
won.
Yep.
They picked The Sixth Sense.
Which
Okay.
isn't a bad pick, but in my opinion, I would give it to Green Mile.
The Green Mile.
Yes, I picked
Yeah.
Green Mile for the test of time, but
Oh,
Sixth
yeah.
Sense is definitely a fantastic.
I mean, it's a
film.
fantastic movie, but when I see the Green Mile, that's just a movie that hits me every
Yeah.
True.
time.
Very
Man,
true.
When you see that Michael Clark Duncan, or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
and he starts breaking into tears, I'm like, oh,
It's
it
impactful.
makes me want to cry.
it what they love, boss.
Yeah.
they love.
That's such a good
Sorry.
movie.
I just noticed too.
Gives me
It's like American
chills.
Beauty is the only movie nominated that doesn't start with the. it's like, does every movie have to start with the?
Well,
right.
now we're moving on to 2000.
Oh, this is a good
Chocolat, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Aaron Brockovich, Gladiator, Traffic. Gladiator 1. They actually do make a pretty good point here. They didn't pick any of these. And the one guy, Dan Zach, I agree with him. Almost Famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't get nominated. It should
it
have. The other
should've
one
and it
said
should've won.
Memento,
Yep.
which was also
That's
better.
also a great one.
Honestly, I mean, I like Gladiator and I like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but the rest of them, it's like,
Yeah.
how could you like
It was
not
a very-
nominate Memento or Almost Famous
Right.
amongst some of these other picks? So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So are you which one are you going with, Keith?
Oh, if I could choose Almost Famous, I would. I think that was an amazing.
What about you,
movie.
Sean?
Well, I really like Gladiator and I like Memento,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I kind of feel like some of these. Almost Famous is good, but
It's
I
so
I
good.
think I would have picked. I just think Gladiator was such more of an epic film over that.
I mean, it's
I mean,
a great
Almost
movie.
Famous is a good movie, but to me, Almost Famous doesn't stand the test of time.
See,
I
I
don't
disagree
know.
because to me it's like
Yeah.
that coming of age film.
I mean,
And I just
yeah.
to me it was still at the time that
It's
why
not
am
a
I
movie
forgetting
I
his
would watch
name?
over
It
and
makes
over.
me
again.
it
Um,
makes me weep my own tears.
why am I forgetting his name? The director.
Weep your
Instead of bleed my own
Jerry
blood,
Maguire. Who
you know.
directed Jerry Maguire? Why am I forgetting?
Cameron
that?
Crowe.
Cameron Crowe.
Cameron
Crowe.
Crowe.
One of the last times he was even in the
Legitimate.
legit.
Or, yeah.
This
Before
last
we
time
bought
he
a
made
zoo.
Yeah.
Elizabethtown.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's awful. All right, so we're all picking some different ones there. 2001. Keith, do you want to handle that one?
Okay, the nominees were A Beautiful Mind, Gosford Park, In the Bedroom, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Moulin Rouge. Of course, the winner was A Beautiful Mind.
They are picking In the Bedroom.
I
I
don't know
disagree. I actually would not pick. A lot of people would think I would pick Lord of the Rings. No,
Not The Fellowship.
Not the Fellowship. I actually went with. I'm okay with A Beautiful Mind, but I would pick Moulin Rouge.
I would stick with A Beautiful Mind. I mean,
Okay.
I would put Moulin Rouge as a close second, but I stick with A Beautiful Mind.
Sean, what
I
about
like
you?
A Beautiful Mind too.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. We're gonna go
like
to
minds that are
We like
beautiful.
minds that are
Brandon.
beautiful.
Well, that's like
You
mine.
just like
my
you
mine.
just
I
like
get it.
horrors, I guess. Moulin Rouge.
Hey, Nicole, Nicole Kidman, something to say about this. And Hugh McGregor. Hey, I'm just saying.
He did have a fantastic voice. I'll
Yeah, he
give him
did.
that. Yeah.
All right, 2002, Chicago, Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, and The Pianist. Chicago won. The
They
editors
stick with
here
Chicago.
pick with Chicago. I also tend to pick Chicago. I'm okay with that.
Like Chicago, I pick Gangs of New York though.
I pick Gangs of
yeah,
New York.
I
Okay.
love that movie. Yeah.
Gangs of New York.
Again, that's a movie that I could watch over and over and over again. Chicago
Wow,
once and
that's
I'm
a long
done.
movie.
Yep. Okay. All right. And I love Gangs of New York, but I guess it'd been so long since a musical
Now,
won.
now here's where they start. You know,
This is where it gets
this is when they want to just be silly.
This is what
Silly.
this one pisses me off.
They haven't gotten quite
really
well,
pisses me off.
we know
It's my favorite movie of all time, and
Yeah.
they dog it.
Mm.
And that is because 2003,
quite ignorantly actually.
Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, Lost in Translation, Master and Commander: Far Side of the World, Mystic River, and Seabiscuit.
And everybody knows Seabiscuit should have won.
But the fact that this is what they say. So Lord of the Rings won. They wanted to pick Lost in Translation.
Which
But
isn't a bad movie.
It's not. It's a good
It's
movie.
not. It's not Return of the
And
King.
it was a great piece for Sofia Coppola to put her name on the map.
Yeah.
Not a Best Picture winner. But here is what I was pissed at. There was a desperate inevitability to 2003's win. Peter Jackson had pulled off this sprawling trilogy on a brisk schedule, and with blockbuster receipts, here it was the last chance to reward him. So it's only with a decade's distance that we can say the third Lord of the Rings film wasn't necessarily as memorable.
Wasn't nearly as memorable.
Nearly as memorable as the first, and that the first wasn't really all that great. Are
don't
you
know
freaking
how you could
kidding
say-
me? A winner of 11 Academy Awards in the same category as Titanic. Only 3 movies have done it, and you're going to tell me that Titanic is the sumptuous whatever crap?
They deserve it
Are
more
you
than-
a bunch of
Masterpiece.
Oh,
what really
gosh.
confuses me is it's
I'm
like
ticked.
it's
Yeah.
nowhere near as good as the first, which is like I don't know how you get that because I felt
No.
every Lord of the
Every
Rings.
one of them
They
built.
stepped it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single
I
one of
mean,
them built.
there was parts where I was in tears at Return of the King, man.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's like when they're like, and the first wasn't really all that great. I was like, I mean,
no, they absolutely they to me they lost
I remember
all
the first time I
credibility
ever saw Fellowship
here.
of the Ring, and I was completely enthralled. And then the
Yes.
fact that they each got better just blew my mind.
Yeah. And not only that, but I love how they sit here and make it seem like they did each one of those separately. It's like they don't know that they don't even
Well, it's
know
funny how he's
what
like,
they're
they
talking
did it
about.
in a small scale. It's
they
like,
did it all
over
at
the course of
once.
8 years, and like all this, the amount of work
Yeah.
put into that and dedication put into that is a million times more than what James
And
Cameron
I'll
put
say
into
it
Titanic.
time and
Yeah.
time again. Titanic is a guilty pleasure. It is not a classic.
Nope.
Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is a classic. Titanic can be remade.
Yep.
It can be remade.
It has
Lord
been.
of the Rings:
I mean,
Return of the King
Titanic
cannot be
is a
remade.
remake of a dozen other movies.
Yeah.
A Night to Remember is a way better Titanic movie than Titanic.
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it was black and white and everything. I mean, it's a way better film. Like I
Yes.
don't understand it.
I'm telling you, they
I
totally.
mean, there's
lost me
only
on
one
this
Oscar the Titanic should have won, and it didn't go to. It was that woman, the older woman, should have
She
won.
should have won Best Supporting,
Supporting actress.
But then that would have given
That
them
was-
12 wins, which then again,
No,
if Good Will
no.
Hunting had won Best Picture, then I'd be okay.
You
I'd be
know,
okay. I'd
the
be
world
okay.
was
All right.
rainbows and butterflies.
All right, Sean, what about 2004?
2004, the nominees were The Aviator, Finding Neverland, $1 Million Baby, Ray, and Sideways.
And they picked $1
Oh,
Million
man.
Baby,
Yep.
and that was also the winner.
Mm-hmm.
What about you all?
That's a hard one because I like all of those. I really like Finding Neverland.
I
I
would have
think,
picked Ray.
and
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I like that movie.
I love all those
good one.
movies. Honestly, actually, the one I like the least out of all those is The Aviator, and I don't dislike it. I just don't like it
True.
as much as the other ones.
But
I-
it was the way of the future.
the
Way of the future. I'm actually this is the one I'm in agreement with. I would
With
I
Million
would
Dollar
I would
Baby.
go with the $1
I
Million
mean, it's
Baby.
a fantastic movie,
And I'm
I'll give
okay
you
with
that.
it winning and the fact that they picked it. That one I'm okay
Mm.
with. So moving on to 2005.
Oh, this one's great. This is-
Brokeback Mountain,
this is-
Capote, Crash, Goodnight and Good Luck, Munich. They picked Crash. Or no, I'm sorry. Crash,
Crash
won.
won.
They picked Brokeback Mountain,
Of
which
course.
everybody
Honestly,
I feel like
I don't think any of those
It's a
movies were
given.
that fantastic.
Nope.
no,
in my
agreed.
opinion.
It was not a great year. I thought it was a so-so year, but
Yeah.
I would have
Mhm.
picked Goodnight and Good Luck.
I
That's the one I
may
would've
have
went
picked
with.
Munich, but I mean, I still like. I don't think any of them were like blow my mind. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this movie represents the pinnacle of movies in 2005. None of them I felt that way.
Remind me, Good Night and Good Luck.
That is directed by
I
George
think I know.
Clooney, and it was about the McCarthy era
Mm.
in TV. And it had a few stars in it.
I'm trying to think
It's
of the
all in
guy's
black
name.
and white.
Okay.
I'm
I
forgetting
wouldn't
the
have- yeah.
guy's name, but
I remember the movie now. I just couldn't. I was trying to get it, but I would have. I would go with Munich too.
I think we can all agree Crash does not
No.
deserve to win.
no.
Not at all. That was definitely that was just a terrible
I
pick.
don't. Yeah.
So
I don't know if it was
2006,
terrible, but
Babel, The Departed, Letters from Iwo Jima, Little Miss Sunshine, The Queen. The Departed won.
Mm-hmm.
They have a question mark because one picked that The Departed was a great movie. They didn't really think The Queen was that great or it was a comedy. And the other one actually disagreed that Departed, because it was a fun movie, deserved to win. And they went with Dreamgirls, which was not nominated.
I
So
mean,
I don't know.
that was actually a pretty good year, to be honest. I mean, the Queen I don't care a whole lot about, but I mean, I loved Babel. I mean,
Mhm.
that might be my pick. Letters from
say-
Iwo Jima I loved, and I mean, Little Miss Sunshine was fantastic.
But
so
I would go with Babel.
Yeah.
I would go back. What about
Babel.
you guys? Read
That would have given
2007?
Inaritu a win like way ahead of when he actually
early.
finally got it. Yeah.
Or what about 07? Keith, you want to read those?
07, yeah. Okay, nominees were Atonement, Juno, Michael Clayton, No Country for Old Men, and There Will Be Blood.
They totally got this
yeah,
wrong.
No Country
Yeah.
for Old Men is what won. They picked Michael Clayton,
I think
which is one of the dullest Best Picture
Yeah.
nominees
ever.
yeah.
Ever. And honestly, what I think is weird is that we went through this list and we picked on, like, Michael Clayton was our very last pick.
Yeah.
You have No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood,
Juno
and
and Atonement are all better.
all of them.
Mm.
of course I'm okay with No Country for Old Men, but I would almost pick Atonement and then There Will Be Blood. Michael Clayton's at the very bottom.
I'm
for
the
me.
opposite. I wanted
There
No
Will Be
Country, but my next pick would have been There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I was. Yeah.
And then in 2008, Neil actually did comment on this one. He said, just read it. Oh, this is the good one. This one's
Yeah.
really good. So the
fantastic.
nominees,
This is when they just go way out of left field and discredit themselves completely.
I think this is when they should just hand over the reins to us and
Right.
let us write these articles. So the nominees are The Curious Case for Benjamin Button, Frost Nixon, Milk, The Reader, and Slumdog Millionaire. Slumdog Millionaire won.
in my opinion, it absolutely
Should
deserved
have.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Keith, do you mind reading?
Okay, because this is great. Amy.
Wait a minute. Can you make it sound like an idiot?
Yeah.
Read it like an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to offend nobody. I'm going to say it. Twilight is the best movie of 2008.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You're
keep
making
going.
it
You're
sound like
good.
it's regal.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
they really think that they have the best
Well,
opinion.
I don't want people to think I'm making fun of
Okay,
mentally
just
because
read
I'm
it
not.
normal.
But
just
I mean,
read it normal
you
from
know,
now on. They
yeah.
get the
yeah.
point now.
But anyways, yeah, I'm going to say it. Twilight is the best movie of 2008. That's what Amy put. Twilight was Best Picture.
Yeah, she said they managed to
It says,
bring.
yeah, Catherine Hardwicke managed to bring gritty indie film texture. Where that came from, I don't know. And Pacific Northwest moodiness, whatever that is, into
Rain.
a blockbuster.
It's called
Yeah.
Rain.
Yeah.
It's like
One of the rare
Jesus.
teen flicks where the teenagers actually look like teenagers. I mean, yeah, but I mean that's more common nowadays than you know.
gosh.
how many
even-
teenagers do you know that look like Taylor Lautner?
That's true.
Yes,
None
that's
of
what I was
them.
gonna
With an
say.
eight-pack.
True.
How many freaking teenage movies have we seen? Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Twilight pulls off a better teen look
Yeah.
than Dazed and Confused? Come on.
Well, wait a minute
Well,
now.
Matthew
Nobody was that
McConaughey.
It is
pale.
supposed to take. Is it in Seattle or where's that at?
I don't even know.
Is
I
it
don't know. It's
Oregon?
somewhere in the
Or
Pacific
Washington
Northwest.
State or something like that.
It is somewhere
like-
in the.
I mean,
the-
it's
Nobody's
yeah,
that
it pulls
pale.
off. It pulls off emo kids really
Yeah.
good.
It says
that's her point.
But it does say who look not only look like teenagers and their inarticulate pauses linger. Their inarticulate pauses linger poignantly in the multiplayer. So all those angsty. Oh, I want Edward. No, I want Jacob. Is up there?
Jacob.
Yeah, all that was brilliant apparently, but also a subtlety camp sense of humor. Well, wasn't a subtle
No.
camp sense of humor. It was bad acting.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Bad acting and bad writing.
Yeah.
Yes,
And it all started with the novel of Stephanie Meyer.
anchored by Robert Pattinson, who I will say now has proven himself a good actor,
But not in that.
Yeah,
No.
that had me laughing throughout. I laughed too because of how
What?
terrible.
Look,
Like,
this,
what did you laugh
this
at?
last line sums it up.
Okay.
Maybe I had a
Okay,
few drinks.
maybe I had a few drinks, but a surprisingly lovely film.
Awful. Was she
And
nuts?
of course, Dan did say you are out of your mind. So kudos
Yes.
to Dan.
Yeah.
What about The Dark Knight or The Wrestler or
In Bruges.
In Bruges, or even I
don't
don't even
even
want
know
to
what
try
that
that
one
one. But I agree. Dark Knight, The Wrestler, they were both way
better.
Yeah.
Ugh, all
Though
right.
Slumdog Millionaire deserved the win.
I agree.
So
Slumdog Millionaire we're picking. All
Okay.
right, that's the last one. We're rolling through the rest of these.
God.
So 2009, Avatar, The Blind Side, District 9, An Education, The Hurt Locker, Inglorious Bastards, Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire, Serious Man, Up and Up in the Air. They picked The Hurt Locker, and Hurt Locker is what won.
I would have
This was the year that they switched over from the 5 noms to
To
at
up to
least
10.
up to
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
I actually would pick Up in the Air.
Well, I mean, we
think Up
all
in the
know
Air.
Avatar should have won.
Yeah.
I would go. I picked Inglorious Bastards, but I mean, Up in the Air would also be great.
Yeah.
I
Sean,
mean,
what about 2010?
2010. Let's see here. Nominees were Black Swan, The Fighter, Inception, The Kids Are All Right, The King's Speech, 127 Hours, The Social Network, Toy Story 3, True Grit, and Winter's Bone.
The winner was King's Speech, but they went
that was my
ahead.
pick, so
They
I'm okay with
they
that.
didn't have either one. They thought that The Fighter. Wait, not The Fighter. What did they? That was already in another year. This person didn't
Yeah,
even
Dan
pick
picked
one.
The Fighter.
He picked The Fighter.
Yeah.
The Fighter was that year. The Wrestler.
Oh, I'm
You're
sorry, The
thinking of
Wrestler. That's I was
Yeah.
picking.
Picked
Yeah,
The
that's
Social
right.
Network.
So and then she picked The Social Network. I'm actually there were so many better than those. I like Social Network, but 127 hours
was amazing.
True Grit. Inception even getting a nod.
Inception,
for
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3
Winter's
was
Bone
phenomenal.
was good too.
Yeah,
That was the movie that introduced us to Jennifer Lawrence.
it was.
And we haven't been able to get rid of her since.
Nope.
The last
she's
year,
actually
thank God.
she's not even the best actor in that movie.
No way. Nope, that old guy.
The guy,
the
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
I feel like,
I can't think of the dude's name. He's
can't
in a
either.
bunch of stuff, but
but I would say we all pick different ones there. But I would probably go with
I'm sticking with
127
King's
hours.
Speech.
yeah,
Okay.
I kind of agree with The Fighter. I really enjoyed that movie.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg and Mr.
Christian
Christian
Bale.
Bale.
Yep.
Fantastic movie.
Mm.
All right, let's move on. 2011. The Artist, The Descendants, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, The Help, Hugo, Midnight in Paris, Moneyball, The Tree of Life, and Warhorse.
Okay. Have you all seen The Tree of Life
I have not.
No.
with Hugh Jackman?
I have
No.
not.
Okay, you watch that movie, and then come back to this category.
Oh wow,
It's
phenomenal.
okay.
It is a deep, dark, weird freaking movie,
Okay.
but it is beautiful. It is.
I mean,
it's him and Rachel White. Oh my god!
I
It
did
is-
want to see it, but I
is-
never did.
It
so
is
I'll-
really freaking good.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay.
I mean, I liked The Artist. I was okay
I like
with
The Artist.
I
I
was
like
happy
their
with that
pick
winning.
Moneyball.
Yeah.
I'm fine with those.
I mean-
That was a phenomenal year.
There was a couple of them. I mean, I
Every
liked
single one of-
Artist, The Descendants,
Yes.
Midnight in Paris. I loved.
Great
I
movie.
mean, so
The
don't-
only one that did there's two
Warhorse-
on here.
Warhorse.
and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close.
neither
is
one of
awful.
those. So
Neither one of those deserve a nom.
Mm.
2012, Mr. Neal had something to say about this. He said, I don't really have a replacement for any of these, but he said not Skyfall, which is what they
they picked Skyfall. The
which
winner
is not
was
nominated.
it wasn't nominated, but they felt it should have been wrong.
Yeah.
I believe Zero Dark 30 was. I mean, the nominees were Amour, Argo, Beast of the Southern Wild, Django Unchained, Les Mis, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Linings Playbook, Zero Dark 30.
Silver Linings.
Yeah, Silver Linings was. I think that year I had picked Zero Dark.
Yeah,
but
I think
Argo, I was not dissatisfied. I loved Argo too. So I mean,
But to
They
me,
were all
looking
good.
back, I would choose either Life of Pi or Silver Linings.
yeah,
And Zero
Silver
Dark 30
Linings,
would come
yeah.
close.
Yeah.
But those are some fantastic movies. Absolutely fantastic. Good-
Indeed.
Another great year. 2013, you had American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, 12 Years a Slave, The Wolf of Wall Street.
I am the captain now. That's not my pick. I just like that line.
A lot of good memes come out of that one.
Yep.
Honestly, I think I would have picked Nebraska, but I mean, 12 Years a Slave was
It is
amazing.
a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I think I would have either picked, I think
12 Years a Slave is what won.
it is what
Yeah.
won, and that's what they picked. I would actually go with Her.
Her, okay.
I thought Her was a phenomenal movie.
I think at the time, me and you both picked Gravity, but looking back, I
Yeah,
would
no.
say
No.
Nebraska.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's another fantastic
Mm.
film. Sean, what about 2014?
Let's see. The nominees were American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash.
There were some amazing ones in that one.
That,
too.
Yeah.
There were, and I like Neil asked us to read the point that Dan Zach makes here, and I actually agree because Birdman won, but Amy made the argument for Boyhood just because of the span of the 13 years that it took to film.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you reward the time and effort it took, or do you reward the finished product?" And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he said for him it's the latter, Birdman, but that's why I would pick either Grand Budapest
Yep.
or Whiplash.
Yep.
I
And
would.
American Sniper is up
Yeah.
there, but that's just a fan favorite.
Yeah, I would actually go with Whiplash. I mean, that movie made me cry. But yeah, Grand Budapest I loved, and American Sniper I loved. I
Yep.
agree. I mean, you spent 13 years making a mediocre film. Why do you deserve to get awarded
Agreed.
for it?
Yeah. They
Couldn't
had this
agree more.
huge build-up for that movie because of the length of time
Yeah.
and that,
Yeah.
that process, but it was not that great.
It
of a
wasn't
movie.
fulfilling.
No,
It
nothing.
didn't fulfill it. 2015, you've got The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. Spotlight won.
Mhm.
They kind of both went back and forth, but agreed on Spotlight. I disagree.
Mhm.
I honestly would have picked The Revenant.
I mean,
I think The
I think
Revenant
The
is
Revenant.
by
I think The
far
Martian
best.
was. I mean, how do you not?
I hate you.
Matt Damon growing potatoes on Mars. Come on, no,
Out of poop.
I would go with The Revenant as well. But there were a couple there I liked. I liked Revenant. I liked Room, and I mean, I loved Mad Max, but I wouldn't pick it as Best Picture.
But Sean was Sean, I'm sorry. Sean's over there.
Yeah.
Neil was happy because he mentioned that Miss Amy here does mention how in the world was Ex Machina not
Actually, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
it didn't wind up in there because Ex Machina is way better than I thought. Big Short, Bridge of Spies, or Spotlight. So whatever.
how did it not end up in there and win?
Well,
So 2016, the infamous 2016, La La Land, Moonlight, Manchester by the Sea, Arrival, Fences, Lion, Hidden Figures, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Of course, we all know the slip up. La La Land didn't win, Moonlight won, but
Who should have won?
La La
I still
Land.
think La La Land. And our
Yep.
friend, our buddy Neil disagrees.
He disagrees, but I picked 100% La La
Yep.
Land. Should have won.
And he says just not
Then
Moonlight.
maybe Arrival after that.
No.
I'm joking.
No.
I'm just digging at Brandon.
Of course he is.
My copy of La La Land at home, I have like a piece of masking tape on the cover art that says Best Picture winner.
Yes,
Like
I
I put it
know.
on there.
I love that.
You know, I mean, even
I do.
Fences was a way better movie. I love
Oh,
Fences.
yeah.
Fences was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Far better than
Denzel coming
Moonlight.
back in the game, and
Yeah.
just that was a fantastic movie.
Indeed.
All right, 2017. Who wants to read that?
I got it. Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I'm telling you right
Shape
now.
of Water won. It should not have.
Oh no, absolutely not. And I know that they're arguing for Dunkirk. One is, and the other one is arguing for Get Out.
I wouldn't have picked Dunkirk. I really like Dunkirk, but
yeah. I wouldn't have picked either one of those. I would have gone with.
I think I would have gone with
Three
three billboards. Okay,
Yeah.
there we
Yeah.
go.
Jinx, you owe me a Miller High Life. He drank all it is. You must have not hated it that much.
I mean, there was only like a little bit left there anyway. I really did love Three Billboards.
Oh no,
so,
that is
yeah.
a fantastic
Yeah.
movie, and I'm really glad that Sam what's his name?
Sam Rockwell, yeah.
I'm
Yes.
really glad that he got that.
Yeah.
And of course, moving on. Oh, hold on. He did say, he didn't like Dunkirk, but Shape of Water was obviously not his pick.
No.
So, and that
Was
was
that
the last.
anybody's pick but the
Yeah.
Academy's?
Of course, nobody picked that one.
Well, I mean-
2018,
Go
you
ahead.
had Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice.
I picked Green Book, and I still stand by it.
Okay, all right. I'm actually going with A Star
Black
Is Born.
Klansman.
A Star Is Born.
Star is Born.
I think A Star Is Born.
I
is
do
just
love A
more
Star is Born,
timeless.
but I'm sticking with my Green Book or
Okay.
Black Panther. I'm just aggravated.
I know you are. All right, Keith, read the last 2019.
Okay.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh,
No,
that's
th-
true.
no, yes, it is.
No, it's to be announced. To be announced.
No,
Okay.
it's-
Okay. Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
And of
if you
course,
go by the-
1917 won, and that is what should have won.
I think if you go off the Academy's tweet, it's Parasite. Which
well, a lot
Oh,
of people.
man.
It's funny, but at the end of this article,
there's a lot of people making a case
that
for
believe
Parasite
it,
now.
Dan Zach
Yeah.
mentions, he said Parasite was pure entertainment with a high level of artistry and wicked social comment.
It was, but I don't
So-
think it was better than the other. I mean, I agree with his comment, but that don't make it better than 1917 or
No.
any of the other movies.
I know
yeah.
he's picking it though.
I do have to make a correction
Uh-oh.
of myself.
Woo!
So way back when I mentioned you need to see The Tree of Life. Okay,
Mhm.
I got that movie mixed up with The Fountain.
The
The Fountain has Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz.
I will
The
watch
Tree
The
of
Fountain.
Life is Brad Pitt and
Yes,
and-
okay.
Yeah, I didn't think that one
That
looked
was
good.
not a good movie. So I would not recommend
Don't
you
watch
watch that
Tree
one.
of Life. Go
So
watch
you're-
The Fountain.
The Fountain. Yeah,
So not
sorry about
picking that
The
one.
Fountain was never nominated.
Okay.
Ah, but
Well, I
should
think
have.
Should've
we ran a little long today, but that's, I mean, we kind of do when it's Oscar season.
We always do when it's Oscar time.
Yeah,
We have to
yeah.
cram it in there.
Hey, not as bad as previous years, but hey,
Yeah.
we made it to the end.
But you know what we could do?
Well, I mean, we got an email, and that's what spurred on our multimedia segment this week.
I wonder how he got there.
So how could somebody, email us with other ideas?
I don't know, Keith. Why don't you tell us?
I want Sean to tell me.
They email us by emailing us.
Well, where do they email?
Oh,
That's
okay.
good.
That
That's
was good. That was
At
good.
Red Moon Product. Oh God, I just
You
lost all
almost
track.
screwed it up.
I did. RMPodcast
That's
at
it.
redmoonproductions.com.
Where?
RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com.
That's right. RM Podcast at redmoonproductions.com.
.com.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this week. Obviously, tune in next week for our Oscar winner reveals and who won, of course, and what we thought of the show.
I won.
We're obviously going to talk
You
about
don't
what
have
we
to
thought.
watch the
I'm
Oscars. You
calling
just
it-
watch our show.
I'm calling it
Oh.
now. I won.
We'll see. If you won, then Sean won because y'all
There's
had about
nothing
90% of the same picks.
We differed on.
There's a
did.
couple.
Quite a
That's
few. of
true.
them.
Couple.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's a tie, but that's all next
I
week.
got them all highlighted here. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
true. We'll find out. So until next time, guys, I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
And
Keith Cheatham.
so until next time, we will
See you at the movies.
I screwed it up.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.
Are you not entertained?